A very sweet welcome, everybody, on a very sunny day evening. Please come to sit. And we are thinking of the people who are not here, especially Rose. Shout out to Rose, who gets the recordings, and she can't open my link at the moment. Rose, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way why it's not working. Good. Just allow yourself to breathe a little bit, sitting still and breathe. By now, the form is so familiar, you don't have to think about it too much. Just settle into the sitting, into the breathing, into the mindfulness. There's no look to it. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to feel a certain way. You're simply observing, noticing what you're doing right now. So we talked in the last few weeks, at least partially, about knowing and wisdom and, feeling the practice and, having it really as part of you and stuff that just when we step on the mat, feeling the postures, knowing that you know what you're doing, that is such a pleasure and privilege of something that you do often that, it works. I mean, we don't think about it very much. I mean, when you're sitting on the bike, you are not in marvel how you're holding your balance on two wheels and a little bit of metal. We forgot about it because we're doing it so often. So I wanted to talk about the word trying. In the yoga school I used to work for a very long time, there was sort of a motto we used a lot in class: don't try, just do. Very motivational, short, snappy. And the bigger message was simply, I think, at least that's how I heard it, that when you're here and you set your intention to do a yoga class and you sit down and then you start moving, you're doing it. You're doing the practice. There's not trying to do the practice. You're just doing the practice because you're doing it the best that you can. That's all that is asked for. There's not like, well, I can't lift my leg over 90 degrees, so it doesn't really count because, no, of course not. You're doing it. So I found it always a really, really nice message, but it dims a little bit the word trying, because there's nothing wrong with trying. That's what you do all day long. That's what we do all our life, and that's how things happen. There's no trying. Yes, there's lots of trying, hopefully. And if there's no trying anymore, I think it becomes very bleak, becomes very set in your ways, sit in a box. That's how I do things. And I don't like anything else. And I know that feeling really well, that kind of thought. When somebody's asking, how's it going with your life? I'm like, I'm trying. But sometimes I'm not so sure that my try errors are shot in the right direction. I feel I put a lot of effort in all day long, but somehow. If you would, for example, just as an example, I don't think any of us do, but imagine playing golf. You started playing golf. You got the outfit, you got the, I don't know, clubs, sticks, thingamithings. You hit the ball, and it's flying through the air, and a hole in one. You're like, wow. And then you're going to go to the next shot. And every shot you do is a hole in one. It's a hole in one. And maybe you'll find that quite exhilarating for time being. And then you play a couple times. I don't know how many times. Aren't you going to stop at a certain point? Because What's the point? You hit the ball, you know it is going to go in the hole. Where's the interest? Where's the surprise? Where's the like, ooh, there's nothing there. You'll stop playing golf very quickly, I'm sure. It is so fascinating how we are obsessed with perfection, with succeeding immediately, with, doing things correctly in a certain way. And by now we are overloaded with everybody's way of doing certain things. It's like there's so much information coming in, which gives you the feeling, oh, I'm not doing it right. Of course you're doing it. You're doing it. You're managing. That's all we do. Talking back about riding a bike, do you remember that feeling? Do you remember that feeling of learning to ride a bike? I like to remind students in my classes that it takes an act of bravery what we do. As silly that might sound. It's maybe not going to war brave, but you're brave for balancing and possibly looking a little silly and, just through the act of trying. When we forget about the acceleration that we felt of like, oh my God, it starts working. Ooh. Especially when you have your practice for a while now. Remember those days when you got really excited about something working out. This is where all our life is. If you're not getting out of the house anymore with the mindful mind of, hey, I might see something new today. Something exciting might happen, or I'm going to try something and I don't know if I succeed. Thinking about trying. It's not trying itself, it's just thinking about trying. Good. Place your hands together in front of the chest, your heart space, where all that, just as an image, just as a picture, where all your curiosity comes from, where all that feeling, I want to taste this world, I want to try something new comes from. It comes from the heart. It doesn't come from the head. Not the real feeling, I'm like, I want this. So there, connecting to your heart space. Maybe it's an intention, maybe it's an offering. Choose a thought towards this coming practice. Not because you know this we're going to, but simply to be open, to experience practice, to have some fun, I hope, to enjoy what you're doing. Good. Let's open your eyes and let's get to try on some stuff on the mat. See what happens today. Come on to hands and knees, please. Ah. Cool. Have a nice wide setup for your hands. Remember, fingers spread out wide. Don't make yourself smaller than you have to be. At least on your yoga mat, you have the space. And maybe on the sides of your yoga mats, we're also going to explore a little bit, but we'll see. From here, my friends, nice long spine. Tuck your toes under for a little bit more oomph in your legs. On an inhale, lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Follow your hand with your eyes. Exhale, scoop your right arm under your chest, under your left arm, out to the side to reach to a wall. Inhale, lift the right arm back up, looking towards your right hand. Exhale, scoop under and reach long. Yes, inhale. Third and last time, lift. Exhale, right arm reaches under the left, and this time, if you like, bringing your right shoulder towards the floor. Like everything we do all class long, if something doesn't work for you, stay with the step before that did work for you. Good. Now, if you want, you can reach your left arm up nice and high. Concentrate not on your hand. Concentrate on your left shoulder, pushing back gently. And one more breath in. Exhale, left hand in front of your face to the floor, pushing into the floor, lifting onto hands and knees. And then you start to wiggle. You start to gently shake your body. Now, if you are a very, very skinny person, that might not feel like much. But for us who have a little bit more flesh on top of our bones, ooh, we can feel the echo. So there's a gentle looseness to your body, isn't there? You can't be too stiff, you can't be too tight, you can't work it too hard. You let loose. So we could do that much longer. Good. Then same other side. On an inhale, lift your left arm up high, reach to the ceiling, look to your left hand. Exhale, scoop under the right arm, out to the side, really far. Inhale, lift. Exhale, scoop and reach and make yourself longer. Inhale, lift. Exhale, final reach, with the possibility, if you're inclined, to bring your shoulder down onto the floor, possibly reaching the right arm up, possibly allowing that right shoulder to drop further back. So some people, of course, want to go all the way around the back, maybe reaching right hand towards their inner left thigh or something. This is all great, but not on the cost of your shoulder dropping forward. So keep it nice and open. Yes, remember, this is all there to enhance the twist. From here, on your next exhale, bringing your right hand down in front of your face, lifting back onto hands and knees, and take a sweet exhale to lift into down dog. And then we check in with our down dog. Have a feel, have a look. Have a sense of what your body is going through. And then if you want, rummage around a little bit in your body, move certain things, walk your legs, shake something out again if you wanted to. It's very, very similar to get into a strange car to drive. You know, you put your seat in, you put the mirrors in the right position, you find the right radio channel, you know, you're just getting a little, make it fit to where you are at. Yes. And then one last breath here in, nice long spine, sitting bones lifting. Exhale, heels pulling towards the floor. Inhale forward to a high push-up plank. Exhale, lower down onto the floor, toes point away, press feet hard. Inhale, lift the chest 5 times. Exhale, lower down, navel in, forehead down. Inhale, lift into second cobra. Exhale, lower down, forehead to the floor. And third. Exhale, lower down, engage your abdominals. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Let's do one last time here. Inhale, lift. Remember to keep your hips on the floor. Exhale, lower down. Bring it back to hands and knees. Exhale back into down dog. And then walking our feet forward to the very top of our mat. Ooh. Allow your knees to bend a little bit more to create that little shelf of thighs to put your torso on top. And your belly rest a little bit on your thighs. And just feel gravity a little stronger. Now, for those of you who have simply more space in their hamstrings, of course, you can push your feet harder into the floor. Lengthen the legs a little bit more out.
My focus is not so much the hamstring stretch. My focus is really your spine being able to hang out. That includes your neck. Don't look down, look through your legs to the back. There you go. And then everybody bend your knees a little deeper so we can roll through our spine, shoulders and head coming up last. Rolling a little bit through the shoulders to then bring our hands behind our back, behind the tailbone, resting it simply on top. Elbows pulling a little further back, and then look towards the left over your left shoulder. A little further maybe. Exhale, look forward. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the middle, bringing your hands behind your head. Standing nice and tall, don't suck into your lower back, sink into your lower back. So keep it nice and tall. And then with that, lengthen your whole spine and the neck. Allow your chin to drop towards the chest. Relaxing your arms while your fingers keep interlaced. So you're not putting your head down, you're just giving it a little extra weight. Making your arms heavy. On your next inhale, lifting the head, hands together, reaching the hands up towards the ceiling, and then look towards the ceiling as well, look towards your hands, but lift your face. So again, same as with the lower back, don't sink in your neck, create some length and space in that neck. Yes. Exhale, bringing your hands together in front of the chest heart space. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, a half lift. Exhale, left foot steps back, big lunge. Inhale, rising up. Stay for one, exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands down, right foot back to down dog. Inhale, forward, high push-up plank. Exhale, lower onto the floor to reach your arms back. Inhale, lift everything off the floor. Stay for the exhale. Inhale to lengthen, lift higher. Exhale, bring it back into down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up high. Exhale, left foot steps forward, big step. Inhale, rising up. Stay for the exhale. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, hands down, right foot forward, folding onto your legs. Lower abdominals pulled in. Inhale, reaching the arms up over your head. Exhale, hands in front of the heart space. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, folding onto your legs. Inhale, half lift. Right foot back. Exhale, big lunge. Same. Inhale, rising up. Stay for the exhale. Maybe bend your left knee a little deeper. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, hands down, left foot back, down dog. Inhale forward, high push-up plank. Exhale onto the floor to reach the arms back. Inhale, lift everything off the floor. Keep your hands, arms pointing to the wall behind you. Don't pull them up too high. Exhale, bring it back into down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up high. Exhale, right foot forward, big step. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, possibly bend the right knee a little deeper. Inhale, long spine, arms reaching. Exhale, hands down, left foot forward, fold them to your legs. Inhale, arms circle up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart space. Inhale, arms reach up, second cycle. Exhale, fold deeper and deeper down. Inhale, half lift, long spine, long neck. Exhale, left foot steps back, big lunge. Inhale, lift up. Stay for the exhale. Inhale. Exhale, hands down, right foot back to down dog. Inhale forward, high push-up plank. Exhale, lower down onto the floor. Keep the hands where they are. One cobra, inhale. Exhale, lower down, engage the abdominals. Arms reach back. Inhale, lift everything. Exhale, bend the knees. See if you can hold your ankles or your feet. Inhale, lift everything. Exhale, bring it back into down dog. On your next inhale, long left leg lifts up high. Exhale, left foot steps forward, big step. Inhale, rising up. Stay for the exhale. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, hands down, right foot forward, folding deeply onto your legs, pressing your face towards your shins. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, half lift. Right foot back. Exhale, big lunge. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale back into down dog. Inhale forward, high push-up plank. Exhale, lower down for cobra. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower down, reach your arms back. Lift into locust. Inhale, lengthen the body. Exhale, lower down to bend your knees, take hold of your ankles, and then inhale, lift into the bow. Exhale, bring it back into down dog. Now right leg lifts up high. Exhale, right foot steps forward, big step. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, hands down, left foot forward, fold onto your legs. Inhale, arms circle up. Exhale, hands in front of the chest. Then slowly reach your arms forward and up. Hands come together and reach the hands behind your head. Navel engage. Exhale. Bringing the hands down to the floor. Ooh, back bend. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, both feet back to down dog. Let's take 2 breaths here. On an inhale, right leg lifts up high. Final lunge, right foot steps forward, big step. Inhale, lift up, rise up. By now, hopefully you have that feeling of hip withstands really internalized. And if you like, you could lift your right
heel off the floor, coming onto the tippy toes in your right foot, simply for a little play on balance. On an exhale, bringing your right heel down and your left hand down. Open your chest to the right. Right arm reaches up high. Notice the outside of your left foot, the side from your little pinky toe to the heel. Notice how your left foot is nicely flexed. Let's keep the form in the left foot. Simply roll onto the outside of your left foot. Ooh. Now you can walk your right foot in front of your hip, a little lower down, away from the shoulders to push. You could also bring your right leg to the back, two long legs. Maybe you want to bring right leg on top of left leg. Vashisthasana. Then everybody step your right foot back in front of the hip and then start to walk your right foot again forward, lifting your left heel up. Right hand comes down, step right foot back. On your next inhale, coming forward to a high plank to bring your knees down under your hips, bending the elbows back to lower the chest, not the elbows. Inhale, gentle upward facing dog, and exhale back into down dog. On your next inhale, left leg lifts up high. Final lunge. Left foot steps forward, big step. Inhale, rising up. Be confident in your stance. And if you like to play a little bit with the balance, if you want to try it out, lift your left heel off the floor, coming high onto your left tippy toes, like a ballerina, like in a high heel. Possibly bending the left knee a little bit more just to keep the alignment. And on your next exhale, left heel, right hand down onto the floor. Open chest, left arm reaches up high. Careful with your shoulders pulling towards the ears. Keep that spine long, keep that back leg long. And especially keeping the engagement in the foot, because now turning onto the outside of that right flexed foot for comfort, walking that left foot back until it's in front of your hip to push into the floor, or if you prefer, left leg next or on top of the right leg. And then stepping that left foot back in front of your hip, and then walking that left foot back forward, both hands to the mat, right heel up, so you can simply step back into down dog. The effort is in your chest now. Inhale to a high plank, bringing the knees under the hips. Bend the elbows back, but not bringing the forearms down. Keep your elbows off the floor. Aim the chest a little bit more to the space in between your hands. There you go. And then while your chest is down, maybe look a little forward, lifting your sitting bones. On an inhale, lift up into upward facing dog. Happy long neck, long spine. Exhale back into down dog. And then walking our hands back towards our feet. Taking the back side of our legs, be that calves, be that ankles, and maybe we can bring a little bit more forearm, elbow behind the legs. Yeah. And then pushing the feet hard into the floor, engaging the abdominals. Deep forward fold, standing forward fold.
Release your arms, bend your knees, and for some it will stop maybe above or around the knee height, and some of you will go full Asian squat, just dropping the hips down, very parallel feet, not asking you to do anything with your arms and shoulders. This is just ankle and knee mobility. And then lifting your butt, hands to your thighs, lift yourself up. Ah, good. Then we're going to take a big step towards the long side of our mats. Right or left, your choice. We're going to, though, go further onto the right side, right foot, right leg. Good. Hands into your hips. Slowly tilting the pelvis forward. Placing our fingertips under our shoulders to the floor, keeping the length within your spine, sitting, not lifting. And then bending our knees as good as we can in this position, and allow your lower torso to drop in between your thighs, just to play with that. Ooh. Maybe allow your head to drop down. Ooh. Hands supporting on the floor, knees deeply bent. You might feel also a little stretch around the ankles, which is not a bad thing. And then from here, pushing your feet hard into the floor to create more and more links. Through the pushing your feet, the pelvis is lifting, hopefully a little higher. Maybe your legs are not fully stretched out, that's okay. This is more about keeping your torso close to that space in between your legs. Good. And then inhale, walking your hands forward under your shoulders. Engaging abdominals, hands to the hips, and then lift up all the way to turn your right toes to the short side of the mat. And bend your right knee nice and deep for a strong, hopefully big step to the warrior two. On an inhale, right leg lengthens out. Reaching the right arm slowly forward. Bring the right hand down, left arm up high, Utthita Trikonasana. Those who want to extend the left arm over their head, feel free to do so. It's nice to look up. It reminds your left shoulder to fall back. But that's all. If you prefer to look down or out to the side, we are all good. Again, you're not trying it, you're just doing it. On your next inhale, lift yourself back up, and on your heels, turn to the other side. Now you're facing the short left side of your mat, bending the left knee deeply. Big old warrior two. So I really hope that you have a really nice wide stance. Just maybe a little bigger than usual. Who knows? Remember, we are not dropping below the knee, huh? We're keeping that strength, that engagement. We do press down, but there's also a sense of resistance. Then slowly push left foot into the floor, lengthen left leg out fully, strongly, reaching left arm forward, placing left hand down, shin block floor, right arm reaches up high. Unless you are one of those who wants to extend the right arm over the head. This doesn't change anything or all about the position of your head. Same rules apply. And then imagine you could make every part of your body a little longer if you would just lengthen into all directions. On your next inhale, lift yourself back up. Turn left toes, same direction as your right toes, hands into the hips. Bend your knees lightly just to hop your feet together and shake your legs out. Circle a little through the ankle if you need to.
We also have these little stretches for the foot. Sometimes you just bring a little self-care down there, feet and ankles. Good. Nice. And then from here, lifting our right knee. First, of course, without the hands. Strengthening that hip flexor. Drop it to hip height and then lift one more time. Drop it to hip height and lift a little higher. Drop to hip height and lift a little higher. So what I mean is drop to hip height and lift a little higher. Drop and lift, drop and lift. And then your right hand takes the right ankle. Draw the heel to the butt and only then open the leg out to the side. Vrikshasana, tree posture. If today is an arm out kind of day to hold the balance, that's fine. If you want to bring your hands in or your arms up, that's fine too. Now, in these postures, that's where we get our little imposter syndrome. I'm like, I'm not doing this beautifully correctly. No, of course you're doing it. It is about the attempt for a while to balance on a leg, on one leg, your own leg. Good. That's it. Nice, Sabine. Sometimes it's all just in the simple stuff. From here, slowly bringing your hands back, bringing your right knee forward on hip height, left hand grabs over, hooking the fingers under the thigh so you can hold your own leg, and then open your chest to the right, reaching your right arm back, possibly holding, possibly looking at your right hand. So if you hook your fingers nicely, that should give you a good grip. Just be careful that you are not pulling the knee in front of your left leg, keeping it in the hip, nice and fixed. And then the movement and the twist is in the torso. On your next exhale, look forward, step the right foot down, shake your legs, shake your legs, shake the shoulders, let it go. So again, in those balances and stuff where we look a little bit more foolish, maybe once in a while, hi, gorgeous, notice the thoughts of like, it's not good enough for blah. It's very interesting. It's a very big inner dialogue. We're lifting finally the left knee. And then we lift it above hip. Feeling those muscles, feeling those muscles. And then we just drop and lift and drop and lift, like doing little reps for this muscle. With exhilaration, waiting for the day when the knee finally hits your chest. No, kidding. From here, taking the ankle and bringing the heel nice and high, if available, to step it inside of our standing leg. Now again, the height, yes, we want to go up high, but sometimes you even have your toe on the floor. You're still working that hip opening. And sometimes, yes, you just have one leg in the air and you just balance like this, and that is absolutely fine. It's your version thereof. Until those ankles are nice and strong. Opening those hips if you want to keep it a little bit more active. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands back in front of the chest. Bring the knee forward, just hip height. So your right hand can go over and under the thigh. So you can hold that heavy leg. Keep your hips aligned. Your chest, your shoulders already turning back. Your chest is already opening out to the left. Left arm reaches to the wall behind you. And only then, if you are so inclined, possibly looking towards your left hand for a little extra challenge. On your next exhale, look forward, step it out. Good. And then everybody come gently to sit on that mat. Soles of your feet together, knees bent out, little butterfly wings, flap, 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 flap. My hands are behind me, my arms are locked, so at least have a little height. I could intensify by lifting my chest a little bit, energizing. And then as we do, we might want to try, this is the topic of the evening, to walk our hands a little further forward, coming a little higher on top of our sitting bones. And then you aim to do the same little flap, flap, flap. And then we just see if we could come a little closer, like either fully on top of your sitting bones, and for those who are already there, maybe a little closer towards the feet with your pelvic floor. And then one last time, butterfly, 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 flap your wings, flap your wings, flap your wings, flap your wings. Just get a little loose in there. Also, simply testing on the hips. So the higher your knees are up, either you have to sit a little higher as well, or you bring your feet a little further forward. You have a greater distance, yeah? Because you want to make it able. If you're the whole time just rolling back, you don't really get to experience what it is. So those of you who want to hold the ankles, go ahead. Or if you prefer more the foot grip, that's fine. Now, as you can see, I didn't immediately try to pull myself forward because we want to, of course, create links within the spine. If you cannot yet hold your ankles, keep your hands behind you and sit as tall as you can. Now, for those of you who want to reach, fold a little forward, go ahead, Baddha Konasana. By rounding your back too much, of course, there's a roundness to your back, most likely. But if it's too hunchbacky, too pronounced at some little part of your spine, then engage your back muscles. Yes, feel that lengthening forward. For 3, 2, 1. Then lifting your eyes, looking forward, and slowly lift yourself up, sitting very tall, hands behind you. And then you're going to step your feet in front of you onto the mat. If you're sitting very far in the back, come a little further forward. Your fingers are pointing away from you, pointing to the wall behind you. And then we're going to walk our hands a little further back, a little further back. Maybe we're going to walk our hands a little further back. Or maybe you want to bring your hips a little further forward. So there's your shoulder stretch. Now, if you're going fairly deep, we need a little protection around the elbows. So give your
elbows, the impulse to bend. Yes. So we're not just hanging in that joint, you know? So your elbows are trying to bend. There's just a little bit happening. You're not going into a full bend, possibly, just to protect the elbows. If your hands want to go a little further back, feel free to. 4, 5, 4, 3. Don't stretch out your elbows. Keep them bent. 2, 1. Good. And then aiming to walk our hands back towards our body so we can pull the hips a little back. And then bringing our left knee in, left knee opens up, pulling the flesh from under your right thigh out a little bit. Okay. And then turning in between your legs for 5 breaths, reaching in between your legs forward. And again, this time it's not about you taking a rest there. This is all about trying to lengthen your torso forward while you keep your right leg and hopefully your right hip very heavy, close to the floor, so you're not completely rolling away. And then lifting yourself back up. Same to your long right leg, Janusirsasana, reaching forward. And then you can either decide to just stay here for 4 breaths and have a moment for yourself. Or, not about forcing, or you can lengthen the spine a little bit. Drawing your chest, your sternum, your brustbone towards that right foot in front of you. And inhale, lifting yourself back up. And then we're going to draw the right knee to the back of our mat. So we're opening out to the long side of our yoga mat, opening up a little wider. And then you have 2 choices. You can bend your right knee to take hold of your ankle, your foot, reaching left arm out long, gazing towards left hand. And my thought here is to lengthen the spine in the same line as your right thigh. So I'm thinking of their connection to bring them close to each other. Now, for those who feel comfortable to keep the right leg long, maybe dropping their right elbow to the floor in front of that right leg, maybe reaching left arm all the way over towards right foot, feel free to do so. You can also keep that left arm long. Good. But think only of the connection of your right thigh and your right side torso. Yes, so don't get too round. Don't lift away from that thigh. On your next inhale, lift yourself back up. Left hand behind you to the floor. Right arm reaches over for a little counter stretch. And then bringing your legs back forward. And then we have the same spiel on the other side. Right leg steps in. Right knee opens out to the side. Pretty 90-degree angle. So you're going in between your thighs, into the diagonal, and then reaching forward. Here it's the same. Don't allow your head to drop down right in front of your right ankle. You're not going down, you're going forward. Now, keeping your left hip heavy, your left leg heavy, reaching forward, hands nice and wide. Don't sink in your shoulders. It all kind of triggers you into rounding your back. So keep pulling that chest forward. Keep pulling the shoulders away from the ears. There we go. Hello, back muscles. 2 more breaths. And then walk your hands back, lift yourself up and woo. Turn to the long left leg. Reaching forward. And again, it's not so much about going constantly deeper. It's really not about that. It's about making your body just a little alert while you're in there. On your next inhale, lift yourself back up. Aim to sit tall, nice long spine, yes. And then we draw our right knee, our bent knee, towards the back of the mat. So that means we're sitting in a much wider V. Good. Either you bend your left knee, hold your foot or your ankle, thinking of connecting torso and thigh, nice and long, right arm reaches out. I'd be so happy with that. And those who are going a little deeper in Parivrtta Janu Sirsa Asana, you can, of course, allow your left elbow to drop towards the inside, the front of your left leg. Right arm reaches out or right arm reaches over, your choice. Two more breaths. On inhale, lift yourself back up, maybe right hand behind you to reach left arm over your head towards the back wall. Ooh. And then all legs to the front. Cool. Cool. Paschimottanasana, simply for 10 breaths. Holding over your long legs. Remember, if your version of Paschimottanasana includes bent knees, the idea is kind of the same, that you're connecting, learning to connect much more torso onto your thighs to reach forward. I'm very happy with that. And then over time, you might discover not so much that the butt goes back, but that the heels go further forward. Until maybe one day your legs are long while you're in this position and your torso is still fairly close to your legs. Again, the rounding is normal, but it should be the whole spine and quite equal. 4, 5. And then slowly rising out of Paschimottanasana, hands behind you, fingers pointing to the front. We make it nice and simple today. Feet onto the mat, lifting the hip, imagining this long straight line from shoulders to knees. So press your hip into that line. Looking forward, let your fingers turn out to the side and then see if we can walk our feet a little back. And maybe you can walk over your squat forward. Don't worry if it doesn't work, just a little mobility thing. So I can also higher my fingertips to do so. Somehow, let's say it like this, you find your way back to hands and knees. Scusa. Okay. And then if you can, with your hands on the floor, roll a little bit through your shoulders. Then tuck your toes under, bring your legs together. And pressing with your hands on the floor, pressing your hips a little bit towards your heels for that toe stretch. Belly close to your thighs. Maybe allowing your head to drop a little bit towards your knees, because that's going to be the next step. Little late for Easter, but let's go into our little rabbit. And let your toes now point back, pressing the feet down, legs stay together, sitting yourself back like a child's pose, but with your knees closed. Then allowing your forehead to drop towards your knees as close as you can, smallest, tiniest little package. Bringing your hands alongside your body and take hold of your own heels. And then possibly pushing your legs into the floor, lifting the hips, rolling it maybe a little bit more into the crown of your head, while holding on to your heels for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly bringing the hips back to the heels, hands under your shoulders, lifting the head and chest. And then walk your hands forward into hands and knees. Exhale, round your back deep, chin at the boards, chin to the chest. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, arch. Last time, exhale, round the back. Inhale, arch. And then imagine that you could play jump rope with your spine. So see if you can circle a little bit through the motion. So if you're not clear, dropping your belly, moving your torso to the left, and then when you bring it up, you start to lift and round your back towards the ceiling. And then you drop it to the right. You start to arch the back, dropping down to the left, rounding up to the right, dropping down. So it's kind of like playing jump rope with your whole spine. Feel free to bend your elbows as much as you need to create a little sense of play. And now comes, of course, the worst cue of all. Change directions. So it's like an extended cat and cow, just with a little extra more three-dimensional side movement. Torso down, torso side, torso up, torso side, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, until it just sort of swings through. Find your way back into the middle, dizzy for joy. Then bringing your forearms onto the mat, allowing your heart, your chest, your brustbein, your sternum to simply melt, drop towards the floor in between your shoulders. You want to bring your head down, that is fine. Just notice if it enhances or takes away from the posture. I feel if I dare to look a little further forward, a little bit in front of my mat, I feel the position stronger, but you choose. And then bringing your hands together, possibly the elbows a little closer, stepping your feet back and coming into a low plank. Now again, making yourself longer and longer and longer, as if the soles of your feet and the top of your head wants to touch opposing walls.
Spread over your whole room. Become longer than your yoga mat. For 5. Plus, if you think of lengthening the body, you don't have to think so hard about how to lift the body away from the floor. 4. Lengthen. 3. 2. And 1. Bring in the knees, thighs, hips, everything down, resting your forehead onto your hands for a moment. Beautiful. Then from here, bringing your hands alongside the chest. Rolling the shoulders out of the way. Lifting the chest, lifting your gaze, energizing the legs a little bit more strongly. You can give yourself the impulse for your chest to pull forward as if it wants to go forward, not simply up. So you really start to feel your back muscles. Your main job is to decide what you want to get out of Cobra. Do you want to strengthen like you do right now? Or do you want to stretch out the spine, aka your arms helping a little bit more, lifting and lengthening, lifting and lengthening. Remember to keep your hips on the floor. Exhale, everybody. Lower down onto your right ear and relax your arms alongside the body. Maybe heels dropping out. Second round, looking down, Cobra. Now, for those very comfortable in Cobra and also very happy in a great height, see if you can walk your hands a little lower down, more towards your ribcage. On an inhale, lift your chest and make your choice, working your back muscles or saying like, you know what, I just want to really lift up, curve that spine. And exhale, lower down onto left ear, arms back, heels out. Then looking down or even resting your forehead to the floor, bend both knees, reaching your arms back, taking the top of your feet, if that's more available than your ankles, pushing your pelvis, pubic bone into the floor, and draw your feet a little closer to your glutes, to your hips. Think of ironing. Make yourself flat, 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 like a post stamp. Do we remember post stamps? People don't use post stamps anymore. Exhale, release the legs, hands alongside the chest, and then you're going to lift yourself up and gently crawl forward to come a little bit more to the front of your mat. I'm going to give you options, but for some of you, this of course will involve something to sit on, like a pillow or a yoga block. You can absolutely sit on your heels, no problem. But for those who are able to come into Virasana, hero posture, you're going to come to sit in between the feet. And if this is a half okay, like you can have the turn and you can have the feet on the outside, but you still need to sit on something, that's fine. Good. Now, in all these different positions, I'm going to ask you to recline like a chair. Good. You're simply walking your hands back, as we did before in that weird little shoulder stretch. Good. Now, some of you might recline completely on their back, super fine, but for the rest of us, it's all good. Now, what you want to open up a little bit is the hip
Buiger, the hip flexor, our front here. So for that, we want to pull the tailbone, the end of your spine, down towards your knees. You're tucking it a little bit under to create openness in the front hip flexors. How far you want to go back is really up to you. It's all good, but just be in the sensation for a little bit. I know we don't do the posture very, very often, so I thought let's throw it in at this point. It's not everyone's favorite because you have to find the right height for your body or the right support for your ankles, to make it a little bit more available. And not every posture is good for everybody. We get that, but this one is so powerful, so challenging, but therefore also bears a lot of results. Oh, last 3 breaths. Slowly, either lifting yourself up. Some people are so comfortable down here with their knees and their hips, they can just step the feet onto the mat out of this position. But most of us muggles, most of us normal people who have to take a little extra care of the joints, you lift yourself back up. If you like, come gently back onto hands and knees. So you just have a little bit more air and spaciousness for your legs to open up. Good news. Come onto your back for your favorite twist to the left. Now, I don't know what your favorite twist is, but you can choose any kind of twist that you would like, as long as your knees drop towards the left and you connecting your right arm, grounding your right arm, say it like this. Your right arm is your right shoulder is your anchor. Letting the knees drop wherever they drop to. Getting all the feels, getting all the sensations. And slowly roll yourself back and set up your twist for the other side. I mean, it's true in a way for all postures to a certain degree, but I feel especially in these twists, you simply notice how your deep exhale supports what you're doing, makes space for what you're doing. Bringing that sweetness to your spine, to your body, to your nervous system, say like this. One more breath. And then slowly turning your hips back. Find your way to spread yourself out on your yoga mat, Shavasana style. And then just for a moment, spread your toes, bend your knees, flex your feet, arch your back, bend your elbows, round your fingers. Just keep a lot of activity in the body, like your little possessed person. And on your next deep exhale, release all the effort. Good. So you just engage all the money, release. Nice.
Eyes soft or closed. And as you did such a nice clean class, nice clean practice, now allow yourself a nice clean relaxation simply at the end. With your fingers, your toes, maybe one more little stretch out on your backside. Stepping the feet onto the mat, bending the knees. Roll over your right side. And press yourself up into one final seat. See, you did it. You didn't try, Just did it. Just do. Good. Put your hands together in front of the heart space. Now, final shout out victory to the teacher. Om Bolo Shri Satguru Bhagavan Ki Jai! Friends, bowing down to ourselves because we showed up for the work and that's all anybody could ask for. Thank you very much for indulging. Have a gorgeous weekend. I hope the sun stays a little longer for some, little spring feel. Take care of yourself. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.